Vizinha só human. Didn't he break his bones into pieces? Go.
So now you're doing this?
What did they do?
Of course, a number of there were corridor bottlenecks, because once the people started seeing us constructing the roads,
No, you're starting your story from the middle. When you started the project,
Right after.
because you started the design, so you
Yes.
started there.
we started with design. The compounds, our strategy of how we were going to construct. So the design had to be approved. Unfortunately, the park belongs to different stakeholders. There is National Water, there is UMEME, which is in charge of power, there is NITA, which is in charge of fiber optics. So we had to coordinate all their efforts for approval of whatever facility they offer to the park. Then after we had gotten that approval, we try now to implement some of the approval where we can attain them, like NITA, we are still in discussion with them. There were also elements of UNRWA. When we came in, we may have seen that there is a small section which is not yet complete, just as we are turning in, because at that moment, all the water which is from this side goes through to go to the south. Now, unfortunately, UNRWA has already built that road, and we don't want it to flood. So we are discussing with them to see how we can harmonize our drainage master plan alongside that. The design, we had to incorporate the other different stakeholders for them to gain approval, because the park is provided for by different stakeholders like NITA, which is in charge of fiber optics, like UMEME, which is in charge of power, like UNRWA, which is in charge of some of the roads we pass through. So we had to harmonize.
Like the Ginger Road?
Like the Ginger Road.
And the railway.
URC, Uganda Railway Corporation. So we have to come up with something which is agreeable to those stakeholders. Otherwise, they will fight it off, like National Water as well. So eventually, some of the stakeholders were still engaging them, like UNRWA, on that road junction where you turn to the Yes, you must have realized that we haven't done a small section because according to our model of hydraulics, that's water flow. If we do it the way it is there, then that road will flood. So we have to raise some level of that road, but that road is not under our scope, it's under UNRWA. So if we do it the way we want to do it and we complete, then we'll be bringing a problem ahead of us, and yet the different park users may not appreciate who is in charge of what. If they see the place is flooding, they'll put that blame back on us.
Correct.
Now, similarly, there is also another situation with the Uganda Railway Corporation, where they're doing their standard gauge, and again water has to go below. But if we do it the way it is now, water will go above the gauge. Now, and again, you can't have the gauge having a hump. So just increasing that 1.5 meters means they have to cut it across gradually, which becomes a cost. They have a contractor on the ground already who's doing their construction.
The railway.
The railway. But then that variation is what we're going to discuss probably when we go into office to see who deals with that. So there's a cost, and then there's a design harmonization between the two entities.
Now they have to dig deeper down, and then they have to wait. When they've built, they have to wait for it to settle and know which direction the water is now going before they start constructing. So that also delays them.
End of the Nile River, we have a Namanve River in the middle. End of the Namanve River, bottom level and the Lake Victoria highest level is half a meter. Not exactly here. From here it is 2.5 meters.
So and the desert again to the rest.
So we don't want to,
You can find this
having the water
coming
back.
this way. Yeah.
So they have to move slowly.
Yeah.
But another thing that delayed, the question was what has delayed? Another thing that delayed them was that we had to negotiate with the already established factories. So the people had already built their factories. And these people, we had asked them to design. So when they are designing, they had to make the roads to meander. And some of the roads fell on the construction houses in people's factories. And so the people said if we want them to break down, government should compensate them. So we had the negotiation, we couldn't compensate them because it was too expensive to compensate. So we did the negotiations and we had to tell them to redesign, to move away from the factories, and so they did the redesign and they had to progress with the work. Give assurance that we shall protect their frogs. So they have frogs in the
Fish.
in the river.
The frogs. We have tried
But that is the financial, because the environmental impact. So they didn't want us to do this project. They said it is in the swamp and it is in the river, so you cannot do it. So they went back and forth. We had to explain to them and give guarantees that the frogs will survive. Yes. Fiber optic service and CCTV camera services. What they will have to do is they come and the wire houses that we have built, they just come and bring their things and start doing business. And so that means we shall be letting that space out to them. Namanve Industrial Park sits on 2,200 acres of land. As we speak, we're having 258 factories. And when we finish this project, we intend to have 500 factories on this land. And this project, as you already know, was started in 1991. For 25 years, we could not have any factories here. We only had 22 factories for 25 years. So I am expecting my minister to give me a medal because now we have 225 factories.
I was last here as chairman of the finance committee when this project was approved. I do appreciate the progress and I've asked about the challenges. They have really, the challenges are understandable. But I have gone back convinced that now there will be no challenge. You are now on course and you will really push this project through. Now the land issue has also come in. I know we are not procurement officers,
That's true.
but we have seen with our eyes, like as he has said, we must make sure that the project, the people going to be affected, are dealt with and settled before we put in money.
Yes.
We have a case in Ibuwaya, under free zones, where we bought land some years back, and up to now, we have never taken possession. We wouldn't want to hear the same case here. So my advice would be settle all the outstanding issues before we put money.
This is the wetland. That issue, honorable ministers, we must address it.
Yes.
UNRWA is going to come to us to ask us for money. Have you shared this one with UNRWA?
Yes.
You have, and you have agreed?
Yeah, their point is, don't touch this because we don't have money.
Ah, okay, don't touch it because we don't have money.
That's good.
We shall look for the money. We must solve this problem very carefully, because I think we need to engage the environmental people. If here we make it a, what do you call it, a sewage? No, not sewage.
Solid waste.
A sewage is
Landfill.
Solid waste.
landfill. Let's call it a landfill.
Yeah.
If we make this place as a landfill, what will happen to the neighbors? Will it inconvenience them? If it has to be inconvenience, how do we sort it out? And yet we want it. You hear? So management, you must take a clear position on that issue, because we don't want fights, we don't want quarrels, we don't want people losing. We all must be winners in this respect. That's why the project will thrive. Otherwise, it be the campaign, even abroad, whatnot, that kind of stuff. So to me, those are the many issues. Once you sort them out, please, I bless you.
And also, be mindful that we want to see value for money.
This was a swamp. It was very difficult for them just to put tarmac as soon as they do backfilling. They had to wait for the project to cure, for the land to settle, and then they put the tarmac. So it delayed them a big time, and the financials expected us to also settle down and compensate the project affected persons, like the ones who were doing bricklaying, because they had issues of livelihood, and the fact that this Namanve Industrial Park is very close to Lake Victoria, and it's just by a 2.3 inch you'd be already in the Lake Victoria. So they had to make sure that they widen the river Namanve, the river, and make sure that we don't have a backflow from the lake back to the industrial park. So the project as it is a very complex project, and it's sitting on 2,200 acres of land, and it is not a brownfield. You're working in an area which has already been pre-allocated to investors, so you have so many stakeholders that you have to manage. I am very happy. The good news is that we have settled all this, and now we are starting the process of moving to ensure that actually the industrial park infrastructure development project is done. Although we have one little issue which is acquiring land for the landfill, which is the sewage. The sewage plant, we've settled it. We would be able to settle that, and we've charged the board with the responsibility of getting this land available for the SME park and the sewage solid waste within 2 weeks. And we'll be good to go and be able to deliver this project to the citizens and to our investors, and all of us will be happy. So I must say that we have done this, and we will continue implementing the infrastructure development amidst all the noise that we are hearing from the public. Everyday people, those who do not perform, we withdraw their land, and then they get discomforted. For every delay of a factory in this country, you're denying a citizen a job. You're denying Uganda money. You're you're actually telling Ugandans that we should continue importing and become a supermarket of a sort. We can't take that. Yes, but if there are issues of corruption, I will also not cover the corrupt. They should be investigated by IGG, and they should be held responsible. If it means taking to court, if it is me, I am happy. They should take us to Luzira when found guilty. But as it is right now, we have a clear agenda. When I got appointed in 2016, this industrial park was already here in 1991. It stood like a white elephant project for 25 years. And I came with the help of my president, removed the things that were impediments. An acre was going at 80,000. They were charging service fee. We had to remove all those things. Removed $80,000 for an acre, made the land to be free. And I thank my president for that. And that's why you see this number of factories coming up. We are concerned to the extent that this project should have gotten completed. It has delayed, and therefore it is nearing the time for us to pay the loan. So the more we delay, the negative impact that it will bring on us. So we don't want to delay, because we must complete the project so that we are seeing value for money. The new timelines of giving them is that 2 years, they should finish now. We cannot go for the next election when the infrastructure is not done, because we have 25 factories, industrial parks to build, so we have to move to the new projects. It doesn't make any sense for us to borrow and start repaying when the project is not completed. So that's why we came to see and understand the impediments that they are in here and resolve all of them as the ministers of finance.